So we'll do the notes in the weekly meeting thing. So I'll post that in our normal channel that we use for these meetings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I moved the channels around a bit. I don't know if it's bad or good, but I did. Sorry.
What did you do?
I rearranged all the client channels to be alphabetical again, and I brought them up to the top more because they were sort of lurking down the bottom.
I think though, for the ones that we have completed, we can just move them down into like the very bottom because most likely people don't need to access the channels.
True. Yeah, that could be good. Yeah.
And then the rest could be alphabetical. Could be in alphabetical order.
Yeah. I think it's only really I think it's only really Complify at the moment that's even there that is completed, and I'm starting to wonder if we shouldn't just actually reach out to them. They probably just do want to it's probably going to be a 1 month break, right? And in that month we can, I think yeah.
Should we just get the meeting started?
Yeah.
If anyone wants to contribute or speak but don't want to actually speak on the channel, you can type in the which one does.
The channel where I've just posted the notes, so create a chat.
Yeah.
And we can just ask everyone to please edit notes, as we go, because someone might be wanting to say something, they can just write it in the notes or whatever, yeah. So if everyone opens up the create a chat channel, that's where the notes are as well.
Yeah. This is the agenda, but maybe we can have I'll do a divider. And so below that divider, people can comment or whatever questions you have, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just going to message Bitsy from Analyst there as well, because
GM friends.
GM.
Hey, who is this?
It's a Fugu.
Hey, Fugu. How come you sound different today?
You do say, but today I'm on my cell phone, so it's a different quality.
Okay.
But same idea.
Okay,
welcome to the weekly meeting with Creator DAO.
Yeah.
Yes.
We ready to roll?
We're ready to roll.
We are.
Oh, Caesar's not here. He's still.
He's in the other. Let me text him. But let's go ahead with the meeting.
Okay. So intro. Let people know they can type. Welcome and hello, panel. Blah blah blah. Brainstorm section. DAOs. So. Yeah, so I guess this is sort of we've got this here because of the whole vision, the whole vision thing, right? And also
we have a discussion in discourse. This, what makes a DAO great? What is an ideal DAO for everyone?
So let's get Discord. We should get discourse open because there's a bit of a discourse theme as well, right? So I'll paste a link to discourse in the
document. And I think in the meantime, if people want to contribute what they think an ideal DAO is, they can comment on the document.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss this now, or do you just want to show that it's a discussion in the discourse?
We want to discuss this right now.
Like first, I just wanted to ask you guys the question: do you guys have a particular DAO in mind that you think is a good model? Like, who do you think is one of the best DAOs out there at the moment?
I'm biased, but I'm gonna say Yearn Finance.
Why?
There are different reasons. Like organization wise, it's very it makes sense. And the biggest thing I would say about Yearn is the culture.
Mhm.
Everyone seems to be on the same page that you are in this DAO because you are a doer, you are enthusiastic about DeFi, and uh, you love what you do. Like that's just what everyone that I know is like at Yearn. Almost everyone, I guess.
I'm just curious how that works because it's like it doesn't seem like Yearn's been shipping that much lately. So what do they do in like a month when they have no new products coming out? As far as I know, like it seems like they haven't had a new vault or a new thing come up for a while.
That's because you have not paid attention to the weekly newsletters. There's actually a lot going on. Recently, they just rolled out the version 3 UI, and it's like kick ass. It's so good.
And there's like a whole
I
bunch of
mean,
ecosystem. There's a bunch of ecosystem kind of projects as well, right? Like things like
Yeah.
Ape Tax and shit like that. Like and
Yeah,
like Iron Bank and like it's like Yearn's kind of everywhere a little bit as well. Like
But Yearn's biggest clients are actually other protocols, right? Like
Right.
Alchemix, Decadra, like and other wallets as well that are integrating your vaults. So there's a lot going on.
Right, so they actually work. Yeah, like so they work. So probably I was going to say it's not that similar to us, but probably it is quite similar to us because they probably have like business development team, sales team,
Marketing,
marketing. They have like
operations,
What was the
strategy.
question?
What makes a DAO good?
and what's a DAO that we should and then Fugu said what's an example of DAOs that we like that we want to be like or like even an aspect of a DAO that you want to be like that we want to be like, you know?
Wait, why are we doing this though? Just out of curiosity.
Well, we're trying to work on our brand and our vision. Like we're trying to work on our brand and our vision a bit because we're going to start. We've got a budget of creator token. Well, this is why I think we're doing it because we've got a budget of creator tokens, 100K creator tokens over the next 3 months for working groups, right? And one of the working groups is the Creator DAO vision, branding, and content marketing group. And the idea of the group is to onboard new people, but firstly to actually say like who are we, what do we do, why do we do it? So that all ties in with like branding and what we want to be like. So I feel like, is that why we're doing it, B? Is that why you think we're doing it, or?
Yeah,
It's important, right? Generally
and also,
as well.
like it's like one of the core things about DAO is the culture. Like, if
Right.
we don't have a culture that we all are on board with, then it's really difficult to run a DAO because if everyone is all over the place, have different visions, have different values, and we cannot. It's much harder to work together.
So we've got that document, the values thing. Oh, so we just created a new Trello board and it's going to be all just for Creator DAO stuff, right?
Actually, the entire workspace is just going to be
Yeah.
DAO.
A whole workspace. So it can be up to 10 boards and it can have all of these working groups. And we're going to have in it.
I see Bowtie Mountain go this year. Do you mind taking the notes as we discuss about DAO? We can add to the discussion in discourse. Anyways, back to you, Dom.
Oh, and the notes are in here. Oh, let me take Bowtie Mountain Goat. So the notes are in our normal channel where we, where we normally, people who don't talk, right? The notes are just posted above there. So the agenda and the notes, well, where the notes will be. Yeah. So I'll also post an invite link to this board. We may as well put that there. We'll have to move some of the other creator boards over into this as well, I guess.
So what are some challenges that people think we are having right now as a DAO?
I think one of the main things that is going on right now that we have to improve is just our organization when it comes to clients. I've been trying to work on that. You guys have probably seen like on the job board, making sure it's totally clear who our clients are, who the project manager is for each client, and when the end dates of each contract or each project is, so we can prioritize what to do and when.
Yes.
So that falls into the working group for processes, right? So
Flow and process, yeah.
Workflow and process, right? So figured we've got, I know passive crypto's into this one, and Fugu, it sounds like you're into this one.
I'm gonna be in it too.
Yeah. So does anyone, if anyone else, okay, can anyone who wants to be involved and help with anything related to workflow and processes, and pretty much these workflows and processes is pretty much the core day-to-day thing, right? If there's two core things, I suppose probably it's going to be culture and actual work, right? And the work is related to workflow. So probably everyone, it would probably be pretty good if most people join this channel and just write a comment in it so that it's open to you. If anyone can't see the channel, flash your mic. It comes off the Creator General chat, which we're all in. Is everyone in the Creator General chat? Oh, it's called Creator Chat, right? Just maybe say hi, so that we know that you're there, and then just let us know if you can see all of these different working groups. Just, I only see two. Caesar only sees two. Poopster, hi. Okay, so all right. I'm gonna just tag the working groups. Okay, I'll do that while someone else talks and carries on the meeting.
Speaking of workflow, I just wanted to ask what people think about onboarding both creators and project managers. What are some things that you think are important that we need to do more of? Feel free to type in the chat too if you want to contribute but don't want to talk.
If no one's going to say anything, I'll give a comment again quickly and just say that something that I've been doing recently, and also Bowtie Nerd as well and some other people, is that when people come and say hi and introduce themselves in the group, jump on them and say welcome to Twitter DAO. We're here to help you. Message me if you need anything. And a lot of people need their handheld for the first job. So I think if you have the time, take on one person kind of as I guess your apprentice for just one job. And there's one new guy named B Hooser. You guys might have seen him. He's a guy wearing a Russian hat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he is sick. His work is very, very good. And after I didn't really know much about him. He came and he said he worked for the Defiance, and I just asked him for a portfolio so I can get an idea of what he can help us with. And I gave him some ideas for the first jobs we're collaborating together for Infinity Skies, and like what he's doing is awesome. I think he's like a huge asset to the DAO. So I want this guy to stay in. So I'm pretty much helping him along the way, answering any question he has. And just having a personal contact, someone that can help you with anything you need is really helpful, and it's going to get these people onboarded. And then once people have done their first coordinate, then they're in, then they know what's going on. But until then, I might need like a person as a mentor, we can say.
That
Yeah.
totally is true. And it would be really, really helpful to have someone whom they can just ask questions rather than, asking question in the general chat, which can be a little bit like not intimidating, but people might feel dumb asking like basic questions. And that goes, I'm just thinking about like onboarding project managers as well. I mean, I used to work for a few like large corporations, like in the traditional, in like the mainstream world. Like the process, I mean, also depends on what it is of like being a manager. Like you also need to like know what's going on the base level. So like what they did with me was like I actually did like an intern, and so I had to work from the base level, and so it was like a 2 to 3 week period. I was like a base level person, and then they train me later in the management department. So that's how it works in the traditional, a lot of times in the traditional world. But then there are also other companies that would just hire managers directly into their management. So I'm just curious to know like what people think about what a DAO should be like. Can someone just come in with like a like management background or educational background that have like a you know management background and they can just be project manager, or should they go through the same process that every creator goes through to understand our workflow, our process, and maybe get to know our DAO and our creators a little bit more before they become project manager? What are people's thoughts on this?
We want to say as well that if anyone wants to be a project manager, right, it's like open right at the moment for more people to be like to try out project management or to start working towards it, or am I right? Like Bowtide Mountain Goat is a project manager now. Fugu's a project manager now. I'm not a very good project manager, so I'm not going to be really like doing it that much. I'm going to try and do more like business development and strategy stuff, but I am the project manager for, I guess, Beans and Proof of Beauty, and probably I'm such a bad project manager that I'm probably also a project manager for something else that I'm not even remembering. So if someone else wants to do project management, like you'll almost definitely there's a place like this, I think, right? Like this, so we've got a few new clients as well, and I think there's going to be a lot more coming. So, and also we need project management for every working group. There has to be a project manager for every working group. So there's like a ton, and that'll be a good way to get started, right? Like if you want to start out project management and you haven't done it before and you're scared to do it for a client, do it for a working group. You'll get paid in creator tokens, and you'll be able to test it out and see if you like it, and then from there you can go on to doing it for a client or whatever.
Another idea is if you are interested in project management and you don't know what you need to do, maybe it's a good idea that you work with another project manager who is experienced or is currently managing a project. Maybe you can just shadow them with them.
Totally. I just realized about this, you know how we're doing at the start of the meeting, we're talking about the channels and stuff like that. You know, like who's getting the right channel and where's the agenda and stuff like that. This is a perfect thing for workflow and processes. Like we should have Because we don't need to start the meeting every week with like 5 minutes of, hey, get into the right channel and shit. It should just be a process that everyone knows, right? Like the agenda should always be available every week for people to write. Like, because that way we can just like have everyone like contributing to the actual agenda of the meeting, like throughout the week. And then everyone knows that there's a channel for notes, right? Like, and then everyone knows that they're in the creator channel, right? Like, so if we
So one of the board in the Creator DAO's working space should be weekly meetings. That in there, people can contribute to the agenda. We could save our recordings there, and as well as our notes.
yeah, because I think the weekly meeting is important. Like we were sort of thinking it would be good to just have like, because once we get these working groups really going, like probably the weekly meetings is going to be a lot of just like, I don't know, maybe just people from like the project managers from the working groups just reporting how things are going and stuff like that, maybe, or maybe it'll be just DAO, like high level DAO shit. Like, I don't know, like probably we do need weekly meetings. I mean, they are pretty, I mean, so far, this one's been pretty good. So I think maybe because we were thinking we didn't need to do weekly meetings, like we haven't really worked on the processes, but I think we definitely should be doing them, like, because there's just so much stuff going on, and I think they are super valuable. So we should like.
I think if you are a project manager for any of the working groups, you should be attending the weekly meeting for sure. That way we know what's going on.
And with the workflow and processes, I think that should be the next thing that we actually get a budget for. So we've got the budget for the content marketing for Creator DAO, for the vision and branding, right? So we've got the money for that. That's happening. At the end of the month, people who work in that working group are going to get paid, right? We don't have the budget for the workflow and processes. So, like, that should be an easy one that everyone can get on board with. I mean, honestly, we could probably just do a vote in here. Like,
I was thinking about proposing a budget, but I don't really know what the benchmark is.
well, I think the benchmark so far is the 30K for three months for content marketing. I honestly think we should put 30K workflow and processes for 3 months.
Okay. I was just thinking because a lot of the 30K.
Well, like, okay, flash your microphone if you think that we should allocate 30,000 creator tokens towards workflow and processes working group over the next 3 months, 10K per month. Flash your microphone on and off if you think that's a good idea.
Be good.
All right, now flash your microphone on and off if you think it's a bad idea.
Nobody.
Passive Crypto, what do you reckon? 30K workflow. Is Passive Crypto still here?
Where is he? He's not. Oh, I'm surprised. He's not in the meeting.
No, he was. He came in before. I think he. Because I mean, honestly, like workflow and processes, like, I mean, do we really need to write a Discord? Do we actually need to write a I mean, we probably do.
Like a
we
proposal,
probably.
you mean?
Yeah, like, do we actually need to write a So our
Snapshot proposal.
Snapshot.
Yeah.
well, a discourse and then a snapshot accompanying it. Like, I mean, we're probably going to have to do that anyway just to make it formal, right? But that's, yeah.
I think maybe this is wrong, but I feel like if there's a general consensus, like perhaps if it's clear, like if there's clear general consensus, we don't need to go through the voting. We have so much to
we
do.
have pretty much the whole F100 here in the meeting right now, and like for something like that, we might be able to just do an informal vote, like right here.
Yeah.
Because this is also recorded. If anyone has issues later on, they can go back to the recording.
Yeah. Because there's just so many things that we could just work on, right? Like over the next few months to just like really get this shit like, you know, polished and get everything stored in the right places and get everything, you know, just like ship shape, right? Like, just sorry, I'm trying to use an ocean metaphor here. I'm not quite sure why, but so I mean, yeah. And so so join that, like everyone, honestly, everyone should be in that workflow and processes working group. And maybe it's not the best name for it, if it needs to have a better name, like, you know. But the idea is it's just all the stuff that all of our processes, right? Like, you know.
Is operation a good word?
Operations could be a really good word for it. Yeah. And all the working groups, they're obviously tied together, right? Like they're not, like, you know, and so, yeah.
There's one like strategies for campaign. Like, what do you mean by that?
I'm not sure if that really needs to be its own working group. I think it's just, it was that whole thing of like, you know how I'm a shit project manager, like, but I'm maybe okay at strategy or like business development or something. Like, well, yeah, strategy. I think strategy is important to have like a strategist on a campaign.
So like this isn't a working group. This is just like a.
It's probably part of the workflow, and it's probably partly in operations and partly in workflow, right? Because like the idea is that we should always have a strategy call with a client, which we've been doing, which works really well, and is definitely something that I think helps. Like the calls with Infinity Skies have been great. The call with Coordinate was great.
How about we do like operation/strategy like together?
Well, maybe we just delete that group and we just formalize the process of strategy, right? Because we've got like the BS, what's it called again? The MSC, right? Which is marketing strategy or management strategy and sales, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
So like
that is already part of the
it is. Yeah, so one of the people in that group is like a strategist, right? It doesn't have to be, I mean, it can be.
It doesn't have to be one. Like
it can be anyone, yeah.
Managers could participate
in
the strategy making process as well.
But the idea is that every client, they go through a sales process, which generally the sales talk a little bit about, you know, what are we going to do and what do you want to achieve and how are we going to try and achieve it, right? Which is basically, that's what I'm calling strategy. Mm-hmm. And so then like after the sale has happened, like then it's good to have another meeting like we've just done with Index Finance, right? So like we just had like a brief meeting with them about, okay, now that you've paid, what is it that we really want to do this month? What do we want to achieve? And that's what I'm calling, like, I'm calling that the strategy, and then the project manager's role is to actually make that happen. So like the project manager may not be necessarily the best person to actually decide what is going to happen on a high level. Like it's probably a conversation between a group of people in the DAO and the client, right? Like you don't just want a project manager just like deciding everything that's going to happen, which wouldn't happen for us anyway, because everyone comes up with their own ideas. But at least if the ideas are, at least if we have a general strategy, which we have done for the last few clients, and it seems to be working well, like some kind of, especially this ties in with the KPI stuff, right? Like, because if you've got KPIs, then you need to know, okay, where the content that we're creating is actually one of the key things that we're trying to do with this content is to actually achieve these KPIs, which have been defined. So yeah, ultimately, like saying, we could have in a BSC group, you could have an analyst, strategist, a salesperson, and a project manager, for example. And there could be more people in the group, right? Because and then and so like the strategy, between sales and strategist and PM, you kind of figure out, okay, well, what are we trying to achieve? And then if we're really going down the track of the KPIs properly, then the analyst actually puts it all into like a numbers format, right? And then it's trackable like that. And then that's where it ties into the KPI option stuff. So this would be like, yeah.
Okay, Doug, so let's narrow down the working groups right now. So KPI, we have content marketing, and then we have operation. Just the three of them, right? Let's just.
Well, I mean, maybe the KPI, you can have a small working group that can just sort of be spun up for like a couple of weeks to get something sorted that's small. So it doesn't have to be huge, but it could come under one of these main categories. So probably KPI doesn't need to be its own category. Probably, right? Like.
Part of the strategy, maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah, because ultimately, you could have like a working group of like 2 or 3 people that are just working on something small that needs to get done, and maybe it's within the content team, or it could be within the operations or workflow, or whatever, right? So and they can have their own channel. Like those threads don't necessarily have to have like a 30K budget. They might have a 1K budget, or a 200 creator tokens for a small thing, but just to keep it organized. So if anyone has anything at all that they want to work on, just create a thread for it, basically. Like if you have any suggestion of anything that you want to work on that you think needs more than one person and that you think needs some kind of budget of creator tokens, then just write it in the general chat and then just click the button that says create thread, and then just try and get someone to join you. And then if you need budget, then you just, boom, create a proposal, or just say it. Like if it's like 200 creator tokens, just be like, hey, give me 200 creator tokens to do this thing. And maybe put a little vote up. Like if 5 people give it a thumbs up, boom. I mean, maybe that's just a suggestion, obviously. All of this is just a suggestion, but I think that's probably, obviously, if it's 100, 50,000 creator tokens, it needs a discourse forum post and probably then a snapshot. There's probably heaps of little things that people could suggest that they might want to work on,
Is Caesar here?
You was?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think one of the key things we wanted to talk about is the creator token distribution.
All right, yeah. I'm still trying to get feedback on it from the discourse. I didn't check it today, so let me open it up. Give me 2 minutes, and then I'll see if there's anything new, and then if not, then I'll speak on it. I do have another idea. Now, I'm not trying to contradict everything or say what your idea isn't valid at all, but it's definitely something we should consider. And that is, instead of giving these groups budgets and say, here's a bunch of money, how about we tell them that they vote for pro rata, they do the work is done, and then we vote to see how much we would pay them. That would be a more appropriate vote to me. Let's say we give them a max budget of 10K, and then they do the work, and then we vote to see what did they produce? Was that worth 10K? You know what I mean? That would be something I think in my mind would be just easier to stomach for people than being there's these guys, they're gonna work on whatever processes, and we're gonna just give them this amount of money, and then maybe that's why people are so hesitant to say anything about it. It's just another way to look at it. I'm not saying what it's.
That makes sense.
What
Like,
is right?
So it's a max
Yeah.
budget. Like, so we've got 30K for 3 months for Creator DAO, content marketing, and vision. But if no one does anything, there's no actual outcomes from that group, then it wouldn't make sense to pay out 30K tokens, right? Like, that's what you're saying, right? So, like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we just make it that's just what it is, right? Like, it's a max. It's a max budget.
Okay.
Like,
Okay, so right now we're not saying 10K per each month. It depends on the work produced.
well, there's up to 10K available, and if there's been like, obviously we don't want to, if we're too tight about it, like if people actually do work, I mean, it's the whole, like, who's making this decision at the end of the month is the founding 100, right? I guess, like, so, I mean,
Yeah.
the
I
founding
But
100
just
wants
to
to
save on- Just to save on votes and proposals, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just saying, just to save on votes and proposals and all that, just give every working group a max budget of 10K. And then when they produce the work, then we do the vote to see what they get. Like, of course, it's not like you can't be like, oh, my working group is like, cleaning my house. No, like it has to be something related to us. And like, then if it's completely unrelated, then it'll still have a max budget of 10K, but they will get zero actual allocation because the entire founding 100's in there, and they all just look and say, "Oh, you didn't do anything that we need." Like, so you might want to ask about it first. Like, "Hey guys, what do you think? I'm thinking of opening this incentive or this initiative to do this, and this. Do you think it would be worthy of it?" And then people, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Start it. And then they start it and they start doing work and they know that they got a 10K budget for that. Something like this. This is just another way to like look at it,
it sort of
I think
does.
that's a cool idea.
Yeah, you go, Pepster.
I would just real quick. I think that's a cool idea, and Caesar, I think that like maybe we could even put up like a channel for like quick votes for something like that. You know what I mean? Like just have a channel for, hey, does everybody approve of this being worthy of a 10K budget or something like that? But I do think that that's something we can expand on. I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I like this, Caesar. I like this idea.
I think that the hope is that the budget always gets spent and that there's always a good value to it, but maybe it's good to have some kind of like out just so that we don't have to like pay like the one guy that did like one meme for like creator content like in the first month, like we just have to give them 10,000. But in a way, like that person, if they stepped up and they did that, like they did something, like maybe it's a way to just like show that, okay, this is a real commitment for this budget. But yeah, I mean, either way is fine with me. Like I don't really like the idea of opening up the groups if no one's actually stepping up to actually say what they want to do. Like if we just give every one of these groups a budget, but no one's actually stepped up to take the time. Like the groups that we've actually got started, like we actually had to do work to get these started. Like we had to write, like we wrote a proposal. We it wasn't good enough, so people said they wanted more information, so we gave more information, right? Like people have to actually take initiative and say like, hey, I want to work on this workflow processes thing, and here's someone else who I've talked with about this who wants to work on it too. And here's just a brief outline of what we want to do, and here's how much money we want to get, or creator tokens we want to get. But still, I do like the idea of having some kind of thing. Like, like if we all just slack off for 3 months, why should we pay ourselves like tokens?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It doesn't make sense, right? So it does make sense to have make it some kind of max budget, but I think we should also reward, like everyone's busy. Like we're not expecting miracles, right? Like we're not expecting total miracles, but if people are making good effort and there's progress being made, like that's genuine progress, then we should honor the budget. Like maybe we can regulate ourselves, right? Like we don't want to be stealing from our own DAO. Like we should be able to regulate ourselves. Like, hey, maybe we didn't actually do, but also because we don't know the value of the token. Also, it's like kind of hard, like
So then
to know.
I think we need to discuss a little bit of what Caesar proposed in the discourse.
All right, I don't have a whole lot of time, so let me go through this quick and kind of say a few points and then just invite everybody to get into the discourse and voice some of their ideas or concerns or anything like that. I'm going to start with the reason for this, why I decided to make this post and kind of whip this together kind of quickety-quick. And that is because Bancor came back to us and said, you know, in order for us to actually get whitelisted, and that means in order for them to give us liquidity on the other side of our liquidity pool, so we would just have to supply Creator DAO tokens and they would supply the Bancor tokens. In order for them to give us any kind of whitelist, we need to distribute them to more wallets. So the tokens have to be outside other wallets. Now, there's another concern for this, and that is like people are talking about the legality of getting airdropped a large portion of tokens that have value versus a large portion of tokens that don't have value. And they want tokens that are not valuable because then they don't have to get taxation or some other things like this, right? So if we give the tokens away sooner to the people who deserve them, then we can avoid these two problems with at one time. Now, that's not saying we have to use Bancor, but if we get whitelisted, it's an option for us to use, right? The numbers I came up with, I put numbers, random numbers, and some people gave me some feedback, and then I changed them. So this is the current numbers, just roughly speaking. 25% of the so there's 88 million tokens, 88, right? 88,888,888, right? So of that, 10%, so 8 million, about 9 million tokens, right? About 9 million tokens. 25 of them will be given to the multi-sig who were basically here since the start, who did everything to get everything going. And so that's roughly about 370,000 tokens. 370, rounded or roughly, right? So that's not too bad. If we're considering each token to be worth $1, I think giving the founding like multi-sig $400,000 is not a remarkable thing at all. Okay, 70% of that 8 million or 9 million will be given to the founding 100 token holders. Now, there's not a lot of us yet, so most of those tokens will be left in the treasury to be given when we give people the founding 100. However, if by that time we have liquidity, then they will have to understand that they will be getting tokens of value along with their founding 100 NFT. So that's something to consider. So after you divide it by 100 and stuff, you get about 62,000 creator tokens. I'm not sure if this is too little, not enough, too much. That's kind of the idea there. And we had this idea, me and Dunks, where we were going to give people, just airdrop it to people who are in the Discord kind of doing things kind of around. Dunks has got a metric, a machine bot that's kind of measuring people's contributions in the Discord itself. So we can filter that, but based on the entire amount of members we have now, it's about 620 members, so that's about 700 tokens a piece. So that's like $700 if we do make them worth $1 each. Now, the reason why, I'm only giving away 10% instead of like percentages of the max supply is because I'm worried about like maintaining the price of these tokens. If we give a whole bunch of tokens out to a whole bunch of people, we don't have outside people buying our token. There's no reason for, Billy Bob from, MakerDAO to come over and buy our creator token. There's no use case for them. So I'm really worried about actually just giving all of these tokens to people without buying them ourselves first. So, we got 88 million, but maybe we don't need 88 million. We can burn some. I don't know. Like, we can talk about that in the future, but only 10% given out in this mechanism. I think it's not too too much, it's not too crazy. It's not like an obscene amount of money like the first proposal I did. But mind you, I kind of messed up on the math on that one. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. There's been some feedback like, hey, I like this. Maybe we change this, maybe we change that. And I've changed a few things, but I haven't caught up to a few. Reading Ape and B have had some more feedback that I haven't got into quite yet. Does anybody have any, I invite you, come to the discourse and give your feedback on it. Maybe we change things. Of course, this is not written in stone, but the sooner we give them out, then the sooner we can provide liquidity and actually give some value to these tokens and start trading them, or at least have a price on the token when we decide to start going, hey, let's give a budget of this many tokens to this initiative. Like, we know how much it is and how much it's going to affect our liquidity pool and stuff like that. That's it. Anybody, any questions? Anything else?
Just about the sandwich. What's the sandwich at the bottom? Why is there a sandwich at the bottom?
That's me. That's my signature.
Caesar, I do have a question. In the case of a F100 member being revoked, or like membership being revoked, how would you deal with something like this?
Well, see, we could Sabler all of these tokens. We could put them all on Sabler, right, which is streaming, and then we could shut off any stream afterwards. But I didn't put Sabler into the proposal because it's not an obscene amount of tokens. But yeah, like, if we airdrop somebody, like someone earns $2,000, right, and then we airdrop him, $62,000. And then he's like, yeah, I'm done. Then we should probably have some way to rake it back. But the only way to rake it back is through like Sabler. Like, we can't, there's no possible way we can say, hey, you need to refund us those money. Like, that's impossible, right? So yeah, the founding 100 token holders, if we have to discuss, like, are we going to Sabler all these for a year? Are we going to airdrop them? If we Sabler them, then I don't think that's considered your tokens yet. So then we have to wait a year for LPs to be made to avoid the tax problem, I think. I don't know. But logically speaking, I think that would be right. Because you don't actually have them in your possession. They're sitting in my contract, dripping to you. So I have control over them until you, as they're dripping to you, the ones that have dripped to you, they are in your possession. But the ones behind the dam, so to speak, are still in my control. So I think to avoid the taxation problem, we have to airdrop them. But yeah, $62,000 airdrop to someone who just made $2,000 making like 6 memes and then doesn't care anymore. I don't know. But like, if he can make 62, maybe we have some sort of initiative to like allow like the founding 100 gets this airdrop, but they know they're going to get another bigger one in the future. Because we still have like 70 million tokens, right? We can, if they want to like take the 62,000 and run, good riddance, right? You know what I mean? Because they're going to get so much more in the future, right? Maybe, I don't know. That's just an idea. So yeah, that's my feedback on that. I'm not saying I'm right. I don't have all the answers, but I do want to know, like, does anybody dislike the system that I initially proposed for the token use. Because I heard somebody saying that they didn't know how to vote on whether tokens should be given to one of these working groups because they don't understand the tokenomics of the token. So let me explain my idea, and I'm saying this is my idea. It's not the idea. It's not the use case. It's just the idea that I thought. There might be some people here who don't know it, so I'll try to explain it very quickly for the people who do know what I'm talking about. And that is simply, we take the budget, the payments from the clients, we use a large portion, 80% of that, to buy the tokens. We give the token 70 of those 80% to people as payment, and then the last 10% we use to make LPs to deepen the liquidity pool. So it's just, buy 80, give out 70 to sell, and 10 make more liquidity, more depth. I think it's very simple, very straightforward, and easy to manage, easy to function, and we don't need to worry about outside people doing anything. It's just all us just controlling it, right? But that's just my idea. That's just the idea I have, which could be right, could be wrong. That's it. Anything else?
So I'll post the forum thing, the creator distribution proposal link in the creator general.
Thanks.
Because that the whole idea is for everyone to just jump in and make your comments on there and read through it and stuff.
Are you doing that?
Posting it now.
Doing
Yeah.
that, Dunks?
Yeah, and also there's a related one. There's a related one which I've also linked as a comment, which I'll also post. I feel like these two are related. Yeah, just check out both of those. And it gives a bit more information about. Yeah. Oh, anyway, I think that's enough for that for now. Check them out. So we've got
And
a
so I
bunch
just
of
wanted to, Dunks, I just wanted to mention that we have 3 minutes left
Oh.
for the meeting, just to let people know they're free to go if they want to, but if they want to, they can also stay back for more discussion.
I have a request. Does anybody have a very, very strong understanding of Balancer? I would like to talk to somebody about the bootstrapping LPs that they have, if anybody understands them very well. Just DM me if you do. If you heard this and you're like, yeah, I know what he's talking about, just DM me. And otherwise, I'll just have to go bother some other people.
I personally know about a project I work with called Divergence. I think they recently did a liquidity bootstrapping program with Balancers, so I can put you in touch with them and you can ask them how that went for them if you want to know.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
We've got some good notes here. Working groups. This is awesome. Well, should we just keep talking about the vision stuff? Because we didn't really actually talk about that, right? What is the vision for Creator DAO?
Yeah, I think we can continue the discussion if people want to stay back for that. Thank you, Bowtie Mountain Goat, for taking notes.
The notes are so good.
I also want to say thanks to Fugu for cleaning up the board, the job board. It's quite helpful to have that post at the end that I can just go to and be like, who can 'cause sometimes I just feel like, hey, I just hit a passive crypto and hey, let's make a video, let's make a couple $100 and we just go to the job board and find what's juicy, right, and ready for a video or something. So I like that. This is the type of stuff I think we need more of because it's intimidating. People are like, oh, look at my post and look at Fugu's post, right? My post is it's important to have all the information there, but it's not necessary at all times, you know. So yeah, I like those posts, Fugu. Thanks.
Yeah, that's Fugu's part of the working group for the workflow and processes. So his little initiative to tidy up the Discord is probably like something that he could actually get paid for, right? Like, if he's going to keep on doing that, like, you know, like he's designed that process and he's actually making that process work and it's helping people. Like, that's kind of the whole point of this budget for that stuff. Like, so if you can think of other things like that, then yeah, I agree. That's a real good thing.
Well,
I do
that's
have a
just-
question about our.
Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
I do have, yeah, sorry. I do have a question about vision and stuff, right? When we first started, like, this DAO, we, like, some of us in the founders, right? We had all this, like, you know, these dreams of, like, you know, getting these projects like Sushi Swap and Yearn to, like, be our clients and stuff like that. And maybe one day we will. I'm not saying we can't or we won't have these big, huge projects as our clients. I'm not saying we won't, but it's like our clients are, you know, new projects for the most part, or projects that are, you know, developing or trying to develop and so forth. And I'm wondering how people feel about that. Like, do they feel like proud that they're like these helping these projects, or that they feel like hesitant to help out these like projects that are not well known and stuff? Like, they would much rather spend their time with like a project that is bigger and more powerful and stuff like that. Like, I think about this sometimes, like a project like I'm just gonna use Yearn as an example, but like there's no way Yearn would like give us a big allocation of tokens, right? They just wouldn't, right? Because their tokens are worth $40,000 a piece, right? And they've had their pumps, so it's always good to get into projects early, but at the same time, you know, there's a lot more risk of being like a scam, a rug pull, or even a hack, right? Like there's this issue, right? This potential. So I'm just wondering how people feel about the like whether or not they feel you know,
I think-
you get it, right?
Like, I think this is our niche, dude. I think this is like, we're right where we need to be, right? So, like, we're growing along with these projects that we're helping. So, man, I mean, you can't start out just jumping in and having all these huge. I feel like, man, this is kind of what the DAO was built for. Actually, was helping launch new projects. I feel like that's our kind of our niche. You know, like I feel like a lot of the guys here, a lot of the people here, the community members here are good at finding new projects. So, like, I think that for one, I really like that's kind of how I identify creator as like a grassroots kind of community led movement that champions these up and coming smaller projects. I think it's good. I enjoy it. I like where we're at. That's just me though.
I really like it too, and I totally agree with that. I also like the idea of us having as a goal to also not to ever stop like bringing on new projects and helping new projects, and like another thing also, Proof of Beauty I think is one of the best NFT studios in the whole space. They're fucking awesome. And Indexed is a small project by market cap right now, but I think that it is an amazing team and I love it. And I think that some of these projects that are small, we can actually grow with them and they will be big. And I think that we can have as a goal to have, I don't see any reason why in the future we can't do work with do some work with bigger projects. It's going to be different when you work with a bigger project. You're not going to be the only people doing stuff, right? You're going to be working with a team from that DAO. We can collab with them and that would be really cool. And we can learn heaps of stuff from that too. So I think we should have I think between those three things, working with grassroots projects, then trying to, and then some of those projects getting big, and then being able to work with some of the bigger project teams, like I think we can kind of work well at all three. But ultimately, right now, yeah, probably you're right, Poop. Still, like probably we've kind of found our niche a little bit, like.
Yeah, I agree with this too. Like, I've said it a few times that I think we shouldn't really turn down anybody unless there's some really sketchy thing going on. Like, I think we should just work with everybody. Like, we might, some will stick around, some will fade and disappear, and some will maybe come back, and who knows, right? But like, that's the whole point. Like, we can work with. You don't have to. If you're a part of a DAO, you don't have to produce for certain projects. You don't have to, do anything. You can just do what you want to do, and that's what makes us great. We're not a company in the sense of like, hey, this client is paying us, get to work, buddy. No, it's like you step up to the things you want to step up to, and I think that's what makes us different, right? In some ways.
I wanted to make a comment too. Like I would say in general, I'm pretty proud of us and the work that we made because we have so many talented creators, and I'm just super proud to work with everyone here. The only thing that I would say I'm a little bit nervous about is when a project is about selling a token. That's like for a very personal reason. Like I just don't like doing that. And for me personally, I may choose not to participate in that project or in that kind of campaign. And I think that's okay. Like if anyone is uncomfortable or don't want to do a certain type of campaign, they can choose not to.
Totally.
Yeah, so this is kind of where this idea is leading to, is the fact that like we shouldn't like at all like ostracize or like look down on anybody who's not deciding to work on any project that happens to be a client. Like like we do have some clients that are like I can definitely consider that some individuals do not want to participate in that sort of project, right? Because it's just not their taste. Like I don't understand NFTs very well. I'm learning, but I'm definitely at the bottom of the NFT learning curve. And so I probably don't really want to participate much with NFTs, right? And you can see like I haven't done a lot for proof of beauty. It's just because I'm not so interested in learning about what it does, right? Even if even Dunk says it's like a great project, it just doesn't tickle me, right? So that's kind of like what we should try to maintain as one of our ideals of vision, is that like you don't have to feel like you have to do anything. You don't have to feel like you should never be like, hey, come on, man, like work on this project, But I don't think we've been doing that. I don't hear anybody calling out people like, hey, you're not producing content for all the projects. So I don't think we have this problem, but I think it should be included very like explicit in our vision that it's a DAO in the sense of you can decide what you want to participate in. I think this is a key aspect of our vision.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, there's lots of like simple things that we could like just make a note of, like they're not it doesn't have to be like grandiose stuff, like it can just be like a lot of simple things that we can just make a note of that we can use. Ultimately, we can end up using in our marketing materials and our content. That's why like this whole idea of the vision thing is like pretty foundational, like if we have a lot of these basic stuff just jotted down, we can probably like build off it and start building out some pretty cool like marketing stuff. So
one of the things that I've seen around, I can't remember the app that they were using to do it, but they're called pitch decks, right? And they're just basically like a PDF that kind of explains what the project is, right? And most of them are designed to say like, this is our token project, this is what we do, this is our tokenomics, this is our team, and it's kind of like a PDF we just hand, like a DM, like a flyer, right? I think we could probably produce one of these for giving to potential clients. I'm not super good at this, but I can try to contribute, and maybe I can try to find the app that people use to create these pitch decks. Like it's just like a Photoshop type thing, but it's online, right? And it's kind of, it functions quite well, but maybe somebody knows about this. I think this would be helpful for like, because a few of the clients that I've talked to on phones, like sales calls, they generally ask for one. They're like, you got a pitch deck, and I'm just like, oh, we're working on it, right? And come and look at my spreadsheet, right? So, you know what I mean? It would be just way easier, just be like, here's our pitch deck, and let's go through it. I mean, I can talk to you while we look at it, right? It's quite nice in that way. And anyhow,
Yeah.
this is just
This is kind of like marketing for Creator DAO, right? Like so.
yeah, totally is.
Yeah, this would definitely be something like, okay, I'm gonna add that to the new Trello board for Creator DAO vision mission branding. All right, so I'm gonna just call it like assets, So pitch deck. Yeah, done. We're not done, but added Trello. Good turnout for the meeting tonight, huh?
Since we're officially over, if no one has anything else to add or say, I just wanted to take this minute, like if you guys have a second, to just organize the job board a little bit, because half the things just say TBD. And it's like, yes, it's organized, but it's kind of still scary when you see like 3 jobs and then the rest are like kind of unclear. So are you guys okay with that?
Sure.
Okay, so Infinity Skies, October 15th. Phantom Oasis, October 31st. Talking Crypto, October 31st. Creator DAO, it says just for the next month. Give me a date to end it on.
Okay, well, let's start it from today, right? Because we've pretty much kicked off this. We're actually okay, everyone who's in this meeting, join the channel, and like you're participating in the content marketing and vision and branding stuff, right? Like you're here, and this is what we're talking about. Like this budget there for you to be here to so join and right? Like we should start it from today.
So Fugu, this group should be specified for marketing, branding and marketing.
I'm changing the name to Creator Content Marketing Vision.
Yes.
Okay, due date or the end date, November 7th?
Yeah, so it goes.
Okay.
Just let people know it goes for 3 months, but the first circle is from this today until 30 days from now, right? Like, I guess. Or do we just not even need to worry that it goes for 3 months? We just.
I don't think we need to worry.
It's going to be posted again. It's going to make it too long and
Got it.
unwieldy.
Got it.
Okay, genomes. Do we have a date for genomes?
Well, it's weird. Like this, the ones that are TBD is because there's stuff like. So, okay. Genomes. We do. Oh, Gabriel, are you here? Have you done the interview with Markio yet, or?
Yeah, I did. I edited it and it's ready to go out.
All right. So, with genomes, we're gonna be sending people to. This is one of these projects that B's talking about where we're helping them do a Miso launch, right? So it's like, yeah, we're going to be sending like the thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to get people to sign up to be notified when the Miso drops. So we don't know when the Miso drops, but we can start it. So we start it from today. Very good. So
For how long?
it's until the Miso is finished.
Okay.
Yeah. because there's a budget, right?
Can-
Yeah.
Can we get the URL put on the job board that links to the place that they need to go
Yeah. So
to sign up?
yeah. So create
Just like,
create your content. Do not post it until you've got that URL. Okay. So create.
Wait, sorry, what?
So create your content. You can start creating your content and having ideas about how you're going to create your content, but don't post it to any channels until you've got your own creator URL, your own special link that's going to point to this landing page that has a form on it where people can put their name down, sign with their wallet and say, hey, I want to be notified when the miso drops. Right? So don't post content yet. Just get it ready. Does that make sense?
yes.
And maybe we should just keep that more on the job specific posting for genomes, because like if we put too many details on here, it's like going to just be a huge wall of text, right?
Well, you can probably say that in like 3 words.
Okay. Let's see. Date unknown, but soon.
Because
So what
people
should I
won't
say?
go to the job board. People won't go to the channel. They'll just see it and they'll be like, oh, awesome, I'm going to create content for genomes. Like, it's fine, but it's just better if we coordinate it a bit.
Okay, making this look pretty.
There's also other issues that we need to work through with genomes as well, but let's...
Okay, so Genome says until Miso token launch, date unknown, but soon. And then what should I say after that? Wait.
Just send them to the job board. Just send them to the job board. Like, just tell them to read the job board. Just put special conditions. Read job board post. You know,
Yeah,
read
yeah.
above,
Yeah.
and that's enough. Yeah. Just so like
Well, there isn't actually a
they
job
don't.
board.
Yeah.
There isn't actually a job board yet.
Somebody posted it. I don't think there is a job board to refer to yet. Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't.
Oh.
The reason there isn't a job board yet is because we're meant to finalise first the KPIs part of it, and also because the pillar content isn't out
Right.
yet, right? Like pillar content's going to be out tomorrow?
It's up to Gabe. But to be honest, it's not really considered pillar content because it's not an interview only with Mark. It's actually an interview with the guy from EtherCards. Together with Mark, the guy from EtherCards speaks for 90%, and Mark just talks for like 10%, repeating a lot of the stuff before, and then like talking about some possible collaborations between EtherCards and genomes.
Got you. So it's not really pillar content, but it's excellent marketing content for what we are looking for, right? So like,
Yes, kind of.
well, we can get it shared out a lot, right? Like that's got a bigger audience because it's got EtherCards guy on it, like stuff like that.
Yeah. And Mark speaks well, so we'll have some content just from that by itself.
But it's not like pillar content doesn't contain all the data. But we've got a ton of pillar content we've got a ton of, we've already worked with them, so we know what.
Okay, so genomes, I wrote speak to Dunks regarding special URL conditions.
Yeah.
Okay, overlay, like what? So you gave me a bunch of stuff for that. Let's set like a soft end date of some sort, so we have something to like put fire under people's asses.
Yeah. So overlay is getting their contracts audited right now, and then they've got LBP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got it's a 3-month deal, right? Like it's so far as a 3-month deal, and $5K a month, right? So like
Have they paid for it? Have they paid yet, or we're still waiting for payment from them?
they've paid the 5K.
Got it.
Yeah. So
we can keep that as TBD. What do you say?
well, we're already working on stuff, right? So like so it's good to have it up because we're working on that reading the white paper thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to put it up. So put it up from today, 5K. And obviously there's work already been done. So there's not a huge amount of budget left, right?
It's arranged by end date, so we don't really have an end date yet.
Well, you do it the same way we're doing for the 3-month creator thing. Just ignore the 3 months and just put 1 month.
Okay, so let's say from today, let's say November 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move that over here. That's a good idea. Okay, now we got POB round 2. Do we have a date for that?
Yeah, that started. I've already announced it, right? Oh, well, yeah, okay, so, yeah, the plan for that is we're getting in a meeting with Proof of Beauty and people from Creator DAO. So if anyone wants to work on that and be in that meeting, because this is going to be awesome what we're planning on working on this month. Like, so if anyone wants to work on Proof of Beauty, like maybe Nadi, I don't know if you want, if you're keen, like,
When is the meeting?
well, we got to kind of coordinate with them because there's a bunch of people from their community that are going to want to be involved. Like we're just start it from today, Figu.
Today for 1 month?
Yeah.
Okay. All of these we can always extend if we feel like we haven't met the target, but as long as just so we can organize it in a way that people can see a date. Like if there's no date, people don't want to get started on the stuff at all, you know.
Yeah. It's I guess the idea is that like again, like we do want to have the strategy set ideally before we really like go into full swing into like content, right? Like that's the reasoning behind it. But yeah, I get it. So I think it's because we want it on the job board because we want the people to get involved in the strategy part. So like it's stupid to like not. It's better to just have it make it clear. Like if you read the job board post, what it says kind of does that. Like it's like maybe it could be more explicit to say, if you want to be involved in the strategy call, please, come to the QA channel and put your name to, right?
Yeah. Okay, and we got Indexed. Do we have a date for Indexed?
Yes, again, that started like today as well, right? Like it's, well, okay, again, like the same thing. So there's an interview, like previously we haven't been putting them on the job board until the interview is out, but I think that's a stupid way to do it in a way because we want to restrict the content, but we want people to start getting involved and start planning the content. We don't want to be pumping out content necessarily just right yet for Indexed, right? But we do want everyone to be getting on board with it. So yeah, it starts today, right? Like, but just with that caveat that, like the pillar content isn't out. We've had a brief strategy meeting which hasn't been uploaded. The video hasn't been uploaded yet because it needs to be clipped. Yeah. So this is like a recurring theme with all of these TBDs, right? TBAs, TBD, to be decided, yeah.
Same with Beanstalk Farms?
No, Beanstalk's like in full swing basically because they've got like a ton of material for that people can look at, and so yeah, there is a date on Beanstalk already, right? Isn't there?
There's a starting date, no ending date.
Okay, well yeah, it's a month, right?
Okay, Beanstalk, you wrote start date October 6th, so you want to say November 6th?
Yeah.
Okay, then we are now good. We got a lot on our plate.
We do.
If you go to the job board now, you'll see the updated version.
Yeah. We do have a lot on our plate.
Nice, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we finish it off? Finish off the.
Yeah. I got nothing else. Is it just me and you right now? I think so.
No, there's heaps of people here. I'm gonna stop the recording now.
All right.